What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Oh my goodness me, the day never ends, is it? Oh, just when you think it's going to be a quiet day. I said to Flex and I said to KG and I said to Josh, you know, when you're flying out Tuesday, it won't even be that busy. I won't have that much to do. Oh my goodness me. We've got a re-signing to talk about in Marcus Rashford. He has officially put pen to paper, signing a new 5-year contract with the club. But also as well, we've signed Johnny Evans. I'm not making it up. We've re-signed Johnny Evans too for a very short period for these pre-season games. So it's all going off today at Manchester United, as they say. You've got the transfer view in the morning. You've got a lunchtime update because we're going to put in a bid for Rasmus Højlund. We've agreed personal terms with Rasmus Højlund. You then get news that Alex Telles is on his way to Saudi Arabia, and now Marcus Rashford officially has put pen to paper on a brand new Manchester United contract, a 5-year contract as well. So an impromptu emergency stream. Breaking news, Rashford re-signs. As I mentioned, be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. I know, again, this was very, very last minute, but it's just kind of spur of the moment. Again, we're live again today, so I can already see some people in the chat. I can see Tabaslaw in there, JB, SJ's in there as well. So, as I mentioned, be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. We're here to talk about Marcus Rashford, because Rashford has signed a new contract. Indeed, just being reported in the last couple of minutes or so. Marcus Rashford has signed a new contract that will extend his stay with Manchester United until the 30th of June, 2028. So it's a 5-year contract. The Academy graduate has made 359 appearances and scored 123 goals for the club since making his debut in 2016. He capped off a fantastic 2022-2023 season in which he scored 30 goals by winning the Sir Matt Busby Player of the Year and Players Player of the Year awards. This is the statement from Manchester United. Rashford, he's quoted on signing his new contract. He has said, quote, "I joined Manchester United as a 7-year-old boy with a dream. That same passion, pride and determination to succeed still drives me every time I have the honour of wearing the shirt. I've already had some amazing experiences at this incredible club, but there is still a lot more to achieve and I remain relentlessly determined to win more trophies in the years ahead. As a United fan all my life, I know the responsibility that comes with representing this badge and feel the highs and lows as much as anyone. I can assure you that I will give everything to help the team reach the level that we are capable of, and I can feel the same determination around the dressing room. I couldn't be more excited for the future under this manager." John Murtough, Manchester United's football director, said, quote, "Ever since he joined our academy 18 years ago, Marcus has epitomised what it takes to succeed as a Manchester United player. He is a brilliant talent, but also humble, dedicated and driven. As he enters his prime years, we know there is still so much more to come from him, and we can see the hunger that Marcus feels to achieve the highest levels of success here at Manchester United. Working with Erik ten Hag and his coaches is the perfect environment for Marcus to continue to develop into one of the best attacking players in the world." As I mentioned, there's been a lot of reaction to this on social media. Rashford's even tweeted saying home. Yes, I can see it right there. He says, "This is home," with a picture of him putting pen to paper and him sitting alongside the Manchester United manager himself, Erik ten Hag too. So, again, we're not going to spend ages. We're not going to sit here for an hour or anything like that with this one, because it is kind of, as I mentioned, sort of developing breaking news. News that we knew that was coming out anyway, because it had been widely reported, I believe. I mean, gosh, when did Romano even first tweet that Rashford was closing in on signing a new contract? That might have been like 6 weeks ago, maybe something like that. It might have been something like that. And then it had come out yesterday or the day before, whenever it was, from David Ornstein that an agreement was in principle, and basically we were going to be getting an announcement very, very shortly. And indeed, we have this announcement. Marcus Rashford has put pen to paper on a new 5-year deal, joining the likes of Luke Shaw, Diogo Dalot, Bruno Fernandes, all recently signing new contracts at the club. And Marcus Rashford's a strange one for me, because I see this news today and I'm very happy that Marcus Rashford has signed a new contract with the club. I'm very happy that an academy graduate is thriving, and he had his best season in a United shirt last season. Again, United haven't gone into how much his new contract is worth over 5 years or anything like that. The reports were that he's on 325k a week, which is a lot, obviously, and some people will say inevitably, "Oh, he's not worth that. No, he's not worth that. No. We're a joke club. We're not a serious club," or anything like that. And as I said, my response to that has been, first of all, I thought it was going to be more. than that, really. I thought they were going to... the old Man United, certainly Ed Woodward's Manchester United, would have given Marcus Rashford like 400k a week. Let's not ignore that. So I think that in itself is a positive, but it was always going to be a lot of money because he was already on a significant amount of money. So it was always going to be a high amount. And football's a funny thing. Players end up playing really well when they've got a year left on their contract or anything like that. I do think there are reservations, and I have really high standards now for Marcus Rashford moving forward, because I do agree that he had his best season at Manchester United last year under Erik ten Hag, but it wasn't a complete season by any stretch of the imagination. No, it was not. He had a good period between sort of October time to, let's say, late March, early April. That was his purple patch. He played well going into the World Cup. He played well at the World Cup. He should have played way more games, in my opinion, at the World Cup. Instead, Gareth Southgate, don't get me started on that, came out of the World Cup. He was in fantastic form, absolutely brilliant form. And for a period of time, we were winning games of football because of Marcus Rashford. He was responsible for that. That's what he was contributing to this team, and he was really, really important. He then, towards the end of March, beginning of April, he picked up an injury. It might have been against Everton at home. And then after he came back from that, he was never the same. He wasn't the same. He wasn't in the same form that he was earlier on in the season, particularly towards those last few games of the season. He did play, but he was quite ineffectual. FA Cup final, he was quite ineffectual. So there's a lot of expectation now, and the big players don't go through purple patches and people point to, he was great from this period of time. The biggest and best players do it over a long period of time. The biggest and best players do it consistently, season in, season out. I spoke earlier on this morning about people like Harry Kane and Mo Salah as recent examples in the Premier League. There are always going to be doubters. If you have a good season, the next question is, can you do it again next season? And the best players do it again next season, next season, next season, next season. It doesn't matter. And with this will come extra scrutiny. He's on a lot of money now. So if Marcus Rashford has maybe the form he was having towards the end of the season, throughout the entirety of next season, people are going to be on his back. Like, he has to know that. And the standards have to be higher. The standards have to be even better. And he has to improve, because Marcus Rashford, too, is still not the complete article. There are sometimes I watch Rashford play and I go, man, football intelligence is frustrating. Sometimes it's still running down blind alley. Sometimes it's, come on, like, the obvious pass is there and he doesn't take it. And I'm all for having a bit of, arrogance and self-belief, but at the same time, you do have to, again, football intelligence, that's the key thing. So I'm expecting a better season, honestly, than what he had last season, and a more consistent season, because he's going to be very needed. And with this new contract comes with not only more money, but more seniority and more expectation. So I'm glad, obviously, that United have tied him down, because I think we should be in the business of tying down our better players and also our academy graduates. I mean, you've just seen an example. We've just signed like a Chelsea Academy graduate, and we don't want to be that club where we build people up and then they go to Premier League clubs and then people talk about loyalty and this, that and the other. You can also talk about money, and I'm sure this will be something that people talk about, is money. But I think it's a good thing for Manchester United, and Erik ten Hag rates the player, and I'm sure Erik ten Hag feels like he's only scratched the surface with the player as well. So as I mentioned, I'm happy with this one. I don't know what you guys think in this. I know that, again, Marcus Rashford polarizes opinion more than I would expect in the Manchester United fan base. There will be a lot of people that are very happy, but there are those people that just will not have it about Rashi. They will not have that he's this top quality player. No, he's not good enough. He's inconsistent. He's not actually that good. He's a pace merchant, or he's this, that, and the other. Which I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I do look at a lot of other Premier League teams, and I think it's a fair assumption to say any Premier League team would have Marcus Rashford. Those top teams, they would all have him. Whether you can argue whether or not they would start. I mean, it depends on the options they have on the pitch at the time, in fairness, because there are better Premier League players in his position than Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford's not the best left winger in the league, right? He's not. But he would get into any club would have him. And if Marcus Rashford became available, had his contract expired, again, plenty of teams would be circling around him. There was interest from PSG as well. So Again, I think this is good news for Manchester United. And again, if you are just joining us, the breaking news is that Marcus Rashford has indeed put pen to paper, and he is a Manchester United player and will be a United player until June 2028, unless, of course, he gets sold or anything like that. But there you go. Let's see what some of you guys are saying. As I mentioned, there'll be those in the chat. I'm already aware of it. We should have sold him to rebuild. If we were a serious club, if he was serious, Evans would not be at the club regarding Johnny Evans. We are going to talk about that, Johnny Evans. I was wondering how I was going to talk about that today because what we have started to do here at United View is, I don't know if you guys have seen it more on YouTube, we're posting a lot more on the community tab at the moment, and I've seen a lot of comments and a lot of people getting involved and sharing their opinions and stuff like that because it's quite difficult to... You're not going to go live, certainly, to talk about Johnny Evans. You might slip it into the next time you do a show or something like that. But I really, I've noticed people are enjoying that. So, yeah, so if you keep an eye out for the community tab, because we're always posting stuff on that multiple times a day. And yeah, I think people are really enjoying it. And one of the things we did was Johnny Evans. With Johnny Evans being re-signed, which we'll touch on in just a second. Mr. Brooks says PSG offered more money and he said no. Well, one thing that has been reported with this is that, again, there had been reports, I think it was from David Ornstein, suggesting that Rashford had received more lucrative offers and he had turned them down. Now, we don't know if that was from PSG. We don't know if that was from, say, Saudi Arabia, because that would fit into the Saudi Pro League's method of recruitment at the moment, of trying to find players with a year left on their contract, or free agents that they can bring in very quickly, kind of blow everyone else out of the water when it comes to contract offers. We don't know. Some people won't buy it. Some people don't buy that and say, yeah, it's all spin, it's all PR, it's just Team Rashford and Team United trying to imply that they got a good deal, but nobody else was interested, blah, blah, blah. That's up to you for who you want to believe. Is there an element of truth in that? Maybe. I can't see it go, that's categorically not true. But football's a funny thing. And as I mentioned, particularly now, when there is so much money involved, and to sign a player with like multiple years left on his contract, a player like Rashford costs a lot of money. When a player like him does have a year left, or is coming into the final year of his contract, other clubs do start making offers, whether it be formally or informally. So I do think there might have been, maybe not, again, formal offers made to him or his representatives, but sure, there might have been Premier League clubs or clubs across Europe going, or maybe even, again, Saudi clubs going, what would it take? Would you be interested? And maybe it's a case of, nah, I'm not interested. But it's great leverage for you to go to Man United with and get more money. And certainly, again, he's got the biggest contract of his career to date, and it's going to come with a lot of pressure and a lot of scrutiny as well. What else are people saying here? Benjamin says, you all think Rashford is the kind of player to make United a serious club? Jokers. Again, this is it perfectly sums up my point. Here we go. Rashford is bang average. We should have cashed in on him. Obviously, I disagree. I think it's kind of wild, honestly, that this was our best player last season, and a player that had his best season of his career, and we're still saying that he's not. There are still some that just won't have that he's not good enough. That's what they'll say. He's not good enough. We won't win anything with Marcus Rashford, and maybe this is the latest lightning rod. I spoke about David De Gea, and I spoke about Ronaldo, and these players that just, for whatever reason, divide opinion. And Rashford, for whatever reason, can be sometimes a strange one with that. And I don't get that. I call me crazy, but I think it's a good thing that we signed Marcus Rashford to a 5-year deal. I know some people are going to be like, ooh. So again, I'm happy with that. As I mentioned, I do want to talk about Johnny Evans because I can't believe this is a real sentence, but indeed it is. Manchester United have re-signed Johnny Evans on a short-term deal. Now, the way this came out earlier today was that Manchester United announced the travelling squad for the game in Edinburgh tomorrow. We've got a pre-season game, 2 o'clock kickoff, British summer time, and it's Manchester United versus Lyon. We're going to be covering it here live on the channel. I'm going to be live in the Asylum, and we're going to be doing a match for you. It's going to be a lot of fun. Whilst announcing this squad that's travelled or travelling to Edinburgh for the game tomorrow, the big headline was that, and this is the quote, experienced defender Johnny Evans has signed a short-term deal to enable him to take part in Manchester United's upcoming pre-season games in Edinburgh and San Diego. Now, what's interesting with these, obviously that game in Edinburgh tomorrow is against Lyon. The San Diego game, I believe, is Wrexham. I think that's the Wrexham one at the Snapdragon Stadium. And then the very next day is the day that they're playing against Real Madrid. And that's in Texas, I think it is. Yes, it's in Houston. So realistically, what they're saying here is that Johnny Evans has signed a contract. I don't know if they've said anything about pay or anything like that, but it's to play with the youngsters. It's to play with the younger players. It's to fill out the squad for tomorrow. Again, the squad tomorrow is largely the same as it was in Oslo. A couple of people have come in. Anthony's in the squad this time. Donny van der Beek's in the squad this time. But that's about it. There's no Tom Heaton this time, so I think Kovar might actually start in goal, which I'm quite excited about. But it's largely the same squad, so it's more. And look, I get the reaction to it because I've seen we are just not serious. We are an embarrassment of a club. We are not serious. Now, it's not to say that Johnny Evans might not stick around permanently, because frankly he might. Legitimately he might. There's a suggestion, at least from those that have reported this today, that are saying, I think the likes of, let me just try and make sure I've got all of this information right in front of me. So yes, it came from TalkSport saying that United weren't ruling anything out after handing Johnny Evans a short-term contract. United believe Evans can pass on valuable experience to the club's younger players. It was also said, I think, by Laurie Whitwell that essentially United and Johnny Evans were happy with the agreement at this stage. And again, they're not ruling anything out as of right now, but it's more so just to build up fitness and support him whilst he looks for a new club. I didn't see it coming. I mean, when it was reported that he was training with Man United, I went, "Oh, that's cool. You know, that's good for him. You know, he's won trophies at United too." Johnny Evans, I remember in particular. I think it's 2011. I might be wrong. I think it's 2011. He played a ton of that season because at the time Ferdinand and Vidic were having injuries. And he played more of the season than people remember. And he won a Premier League title for him multiple times. He's won the Premier League. And when we got rid of him, which was that Louis van Gaal's first season or second season? I forget when it was. But around that period of time, I remember thinking to myself, I don't think this is a good move. Because, again, he wasn't bad. Like, he wasn't... then I say he was a Man United starter, but he was a rotation option in his day at United. That again won trophies, like did all right at the club. So I remember at the time being like, I'm not sure that's the best move. I'm not sure we should have done that. Now, obviously, right now, Johnny Evans. I mean, how old is Johnny Evans at the moment? Let me just double check this. Johnny Evans is 35 years of age. He turned 35 earlier this year. And I don't think he played a ton of games for Leicester last season, did he? I think he had a lot of injury problems, and Leicester, frankly, last season were appalling. He played 13 times in the Premier League, actually, last season. So, but he played some games. Is he a legitimate option for United? You know what I could see happening? This is what I could see. Harry Maguire, there is a possibility he could leave. There's a possibility Maguire could leave this summer. He's been stripped of the captaincy. Clubs are interested. It might be difficult for certain teams to do because of his wages and this, that, and the other. And it had been reported previously that United were almost, not reluctant, but they were weary of letting Maguire go because they thought, we're going to have to bring someone else in to replace Harry Maguire. And do we have the finances to do that? Because we might have to sell Maguire and Henderson and these other players to sort of facilitate a move for Rasmus Højlund. We know our first bid's going in. Blah, blah, blah. You could sell Maguire. If you're saying that Harry Maguire's not going to play that many games, if at all, and if you're saying your centre-back choices are Rafael Varane, Lissandro Martinez, Victor Lindelof, and let's be honest, Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw's involved in that. And then maybe Harry Maguire, fifth choice. Is there an argument to be made that Johnny Evans could come in and be fifth choice if you get rid of Harry Maguire, honestly? I don't know. I mean, I don't. The only thing is, I mean, to have him in the squad would be one thing, but that when it gets to that period where it's like Johnny Evans has got to play at centre back for Man United in the Premier League. But I did see some people say, and this is true as well, he does count as a homegrown player as well. And if United find themselves in a pinch from an FFP point of view, and you get rid of Harry Maguire and you bring Johnny Evans in as a fifth choice rather. But there is an argument to be made that it could work. Now Polo Notes says there it's true. I just play a youth player. That's also true. But which youth player do you play in that instance? Do you play Fish that's been playing on the tour? He's going to Hibs. Bennett, I think, is injured as well. We might be doing it. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Most likely it won't happen, I don't think. But they're not ruling anything out. And as of right now, again, it's just for him to play tomorrow and then also in San Diego. But, and look, Wolkvist says, don't justify this, please. Maybe I am justifying it. I'm not... I don't know. I don't know. The point. This is what I'm offering you. Okay, I'm saying Harry Maguire. Sell him this summer, but you have to replace him. Who do you replace him with? I mean, the sirens are going because some would say it's criminal. SK with a super chat says, Eric Ten Hag is a bloody genius. What message to send to Maguire? And it's only for pre-season. Imagine Evans does Maguire for pace. I mean, Johnny Evans has lost a lot of pace, by the way. And again, this is why I'm very conflicted on this, because it's all good in theory, isn't it? It's all good in theory until he actually has to play a match. That's the problem. Until he has to actually play a match, and then Johnny Evans is in the starting lineup for Manchester United, you go, oh shit, crap, he's clearly not good enough. Look, Director Me says, shame, shame, shame. There are so many players to replace Maguire. What, referring to Manchester United players currently in the youth setup at the moment? Because as I said, you've got centre back options. Here's one though. Who's better? Harry Maguire, Johnny Evans. Harry Maguire's better than Johnny Evans. Let's not even get into that. Harry Maguire is better than Johnny Evans at this stage in his career. He is. But I don't know. Like I said, I saw a lot of people really, really outraged by it today, and I honestly didn't really care that much, because there's still most likely a possibility. There's still most likely a possibility that, again, it's just for these pre-season games. And he might play tomorrow in Edinburgh, and we have one look at him and we go, fucking hell. Like, he's not. It's not there for Johnny Evans at this point of being a Man United player. I think it's over. But at the same time, if it does... What happens if he does play in this pre-season, then he's all right. I mean, again, when he plays the Wrexham game, he's going to be playing against League 2 players. So that could be really it for him, let's be honest, too, there. If he's getting absolutely rinsed by a League 2 player, that might be it too. But we'll wait and see what happens with Johnny Evans. As I mentioned, it was very, very surprising. No one saw it coming. I would also point out, too, that there was an expectation that he was going to go to, I think it was to Everton, I saw. There was an expectation he was going to go to Everton. Because there was this training video that Everton were doing the other day, and in the background you could hear them saying, "Oh, we've got Johnny Evans coming in." So people thought, "Oh, is he going to Everton?" So if clearly Everton feel like he could still be good enough to play in the Premier League. Playing in the Premier League and playing for Manchester United are two different things, but he wouldn't be a first teamer for Man United as well. So I mean, I can understand people going, "Oh, we're not serious, and all that kind of stuff." But I think also it must be pointed out, we're not signing Johnny Evans to be playing alongside Lisandro Martinez at centre back as well. So we'll see how he does. You know, you never know. What else are people saying in the chat as well? There are some people that I just honestly don't see why he's at the club. Sting says Evans is like Henrik Larsson. Mohit says Evans is better than Maguire. Tiki Taka says, the Johnny Evans took me by storm. Jones 2.0. It does mean as well that there is still a player that at the club that was managed by Sir Alex and won the Premier League. That is true as well. What else are people saying here too? Aria, one of our members, says, bro, okay, look at what Ten Hag's got out of him last season compared to the season before. Look at Rashford and Ollie Vibes ball. The man hasn't even touched the ceiling, bro. Come on. Well, this is the thing. Again, I as I've said, with Rashford, I can understand the criticism of him because I do think there's ways to go. But the way that I think some people are talking about Marcus Rashford is that we should have never given him a new contract or we should have sold him. Which I just don't see that. I think you should be in the interest of signing your best players to long-term contracts, and also as well backing the manager. I think you've asked Erik ten Hag, do you want to keep Marcus Rashford? Yes, and not the fake yeses that he's given with the likes of David De Gea and all that kind of stuff. He clearly rates Marcus Rashford, and clearly he knows too that, again, through points of last season, we would have not won football matches had it not been for Marcus Rashford's goals and Marcus Rashford's form, particularly through that winter period. And as Araya says there too, it's just one season of Ten Hag with Rashford as well. If he continues improving, he can become that top tier player. But that's what everyone's waiting to see. And to those people that, doubt him or think that he's not capable of it, we're going to find out either way, aren't we? Either you're going to be proved wrong or you're going to be proved right. And when if you're proved right, you can come here and be like, see, told you so, and I'll hold my hands up. Same way I did with David De Gea. Like a lot of people, I saw the light eventually and went, yep, you're right, he's got to go. But I think it should also be celebrated that a player has come through the academy, is playing well, played better, had his best season that he's had at United, signs a new long-term contract and wants to succeed and achieve things and stick around with this manager. Let's face it too, if the club was in the situation it was a couple of years ago, there's no guarantee Rashford would have signed. He'd have been like, I'll go elsewhere and I'll be in another squad. I might win trophies. He wants to stay at United, and again, I think that's a positive. Lawrence says his wife's pulling levers since she works there. I think so. I saw some people saying that Johnny Evans' wife still works for MUTV. I don't know. And Avi says Murto deserves some accolades, in my opinion, referring to the business that we've done so far. I mean, we'll wait and see to the end of the window. Like I said, I think earlier on, I was saying that. You look at the two deals that we've done so far in Mason Mount and Andre Onana, and the price that was quoted and the price that we ended up paying, I think is good business. It's not just John Murto as well. It's Matt Hargreaves as well, the negotiator involved in this. I think he deserves credit. It's his first season, first summer actually negotiating these transfer deals, and he deserves a shout out as well. And we'll see what our business looks like at the end of the window with FFP restrictions. If we manage to sign Onana, Mason Mount, Rasmus Højlund, and maybe an Amrabat, and you never know, it might be another goalkeeper. I think that would be a transfer window that, again, depending on the price points, we'd take that. Considering the financial situation, the takeover situation, the Glazers giving two shits about anything that goes on at Manchester United, I think we would take that, and we'd be going into the season improved from where we were last year, and I think that would be a positive. Again, we're not going to challenge for the title or anything like that, but I think there would be improvement to what we had as well. But after last year, I'm not sure. Last year was so bizarre because we did make the signings, but the timeline of it was just nuts, absolutely nuts. So you can't. The guy was in Spain for ages. The guy was in Turin as well, and we didn't get either player. It's just crazy. Skiliano says Højlund scored 9 goals last season. I'm not convinced he addresses our goal scoring problems. Well, this is the thing with Rasmus Højlund, isn't it? Is he's not the finished article, and some would argue that's what we're paying for. We're paying for potential as opposed to right now. The striker market's difficult this summer, and that's not me letting them off. It is. Those key top name strikers, they're difficult. The people we wanted, Victor Osimhen, not available. Harry Kane, to us right now, not available, especially with the money that we've got. You could argue a Dusan Vlahovic is available, and I know that's a name that some people have been interested in. I don't know what the price would be quoted for him, honestly, and also too, again, we don't really know what's being driven by Erik ten Hag. If Erik ten Hag's gone to John Murto and said, "Can you get me Kane or Osimhen?" and they've gone, "No, they're not available," maybe Rasmus Højlund is the top target for Erik ten Hag, and that's what was reported. That as it stands right now, Rasmus Højlund is the top target that he wants. And also, again, it goes back to the Johnny Evans situation. If Erik ten Hag turns to whoever, John Murtough or his coaches, whatever it may be, and says, you know what, let's keep Johnny Evans for a season. And they go, you're going to play him? Probably not, but he's just good to have around. I mean, you look at Man City, their third goalkeeper, Scott Carson, how often does he play? He plays like a game a year. Why is he around? Just because he's good for the dressing room. It might even be like that. He's good for the dressing room. We'll keep him around later on in his career. Is he going to play? No. What if we have all of these injuries? Is he going to play then? Still probably not. We'll just get a youth player in. It legitimately might be even just like that. I think he'd be good to have around the group. And he plays, a Carabao Cup game we have against a League 2 side or something like that. I don't know, And again, you can say, oh, and you're justifying it, but we don't know the reasons behind it. We don't. It might just be as cut and dry of, oh, he's definitely not going to stick around. No, he's just going to. We need some bodies for the pre-season, and we said, oh, you get involved for the pre-season. You can come on tour with us. It might be that too. So, or it might be something a bit more than that, which Ten Hag feels like he's got something to offer. Like you, I would go, I'm pretty sure there are other people, better options, probably even better free agents around than Johnny Evans at the moment that we could bring in. But it'll be interesting certainly to see what Erik ten Hag says. He'll have an interview before the game tomorrow and afterwards, which you would think Johnny Evans will play a part in. And it'll be interesting to see what he says about his future. And maybe people will change their minds after the preseason. Maybe they won't. I don't know about that as well. Justin says, Højlund is Ten Hag's second striker option behind Kane. I think we're going to sign a future star. Tabaslow says, remember to smash the like button. Help the channel with the algorithm. Yes, the algorithm. Yes, it needs to be satisfied. That's what it needs to be done as well. And Vera says, Maguire to Chelsea. Here we go. £50 million agreed fee. Pay up Chelsea. Well, look, I did see some people talking about that. That obviously Fofana from Chelsea has done his ACL. He's going to be out for 9 months, maybe a year, something like that. And he had been linked to Chelsea anyway, Harry Maguire, and maybe now they might be considering their options. And maybe, if I was Harry Maguire and I was his agents and his representatives, I'd say, look, get in touch with Chelsea. We can be an option there. We can be a solution to them. They've just gone a defender down. We're available. We'll make the jump for him. He'll see that as a lateral move, or I'm still at a big club, a club that can pay my wages. I'll jump there. I'll go there. So I would say watch that space on that one. Honestly, that might be a solution for him, and that might be a solution for United as well too. So, and again, maybe that's part of it today as well. Maybe again with the Johnny Evans thing, maybe that's just a fail-safe. Maybe they go, we'll get rid of Maguire. And we're going to get rid of these other players. We'll sign Højlund. We'll sign Amrabat as well. We'll try and get Amrabat. And then we'll see how much money we've got to replace Harry Maguire. Because if we don't have a lot of money, then maybe that's what we have to do. Maybe we have to get Johnny Evans on a free, and he can be our 4th or 5th choice centre-back or something like that, knowing that we're probably not going to play him that much. It might just be an FFP situation too. So, again, keep an eye on that one. That's going to be an interesting one. Anyway, guys, as I mentioned, it's not going to be a full hour. It's going to stick around 30 minutes. Get in, get out. That's the latest news. Marcus Rashford, if you are just joining us, signing a new 5-year contract with Manchester United until June 2028. And also, Man United have signed Johnny Evans on a short-term contract too, so he can play the games, the next upcoming preseason games. Specifically, they've said the one in Edinburgh tomorrow and the one in San Diego, which is against Wrexham, which is the games that the younger players are going to be playing in, because the next day in San Diego, the day after that one rather, in Houston, we're facing Real Madrid. So, yes, it's going to be... I would be surprised if Johnny Evans was playing against Real Madrid in Houston, Texas, but you never know. Anyway, guys, be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As I mentioned, more news you never know, especially after today. So subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. I'm out of it. Have a good one. Peace.